Rhode Island's favorite realtor, Louis Wainwright, bringing you guys, I want to say a market update. So, I read this article, right? Whoa, I read this article. I've been talking too much all day. I feel like my tongue is tired. It's fatigue, showing fatigue. So, I want to read you this boring little article. Not the whole thing, just a piece of it, right? And I say boring because I feel like I'm one of the only people I know who gets super excited with like percentages and numbers and data. And one of the reason I get so excited with data is because we're at a point now where we can collect so much data, we can almost predict the future, which is as close to magic as you can possibly get, right? So this is a magical article. This was from housingwire.com, and check this out, right? This is what it said. Share of loans with payments 90 days to 119 days. That's like 3 to 4 months. Days late quadrupled between May and June. Right? May and June. Right? So the pandemic was March. This is May and June. Now, this has been the highest level in more than 21 years. I'm going to continue. Measuring all loans 90 days or more overdue, including loans already in foreclosure, a gauge known as the serious delinquency rate. The share was the highest since 2015. I'm going to repeat that. The serious delinquency rate, the share was the highest since 2015. Now, remember, right? Put a star next to this. Forbearance agreements, which allows a property owner to suspend their home loan payments without penalties. While they have permission to miss payments, these are still counted as delinquent. Okay, so yes, we are at the highest level when it comes to delinquency rates since 2015, but at the same time, you got a lot of people in forbearance, right? Forbearance was the thing that allows you to push pretty much like 3 or 4 payments to the end of your mortgage. I've still been seeing that some companies are doing it up front, like you got to pay all 4 months in 1 month. I don't know of any who are doing that. So if you know of a company that's making everyone pay all at once, drop a comment below. Let me know. We got to stay informed. So check this out. 3.6 million Americans are in forbearance, guys, according to the MBA. What was the MBA? Oh yeah, Mortgage Business Association, I believe it is. Now, or Mortgage Bankers Association, one of those. You can Google it. 3.6 million Americans are in forbearance according to the MBA. 7% of all homeowners. Yeah, that's 7% of all homeowners are in forbearance. Now, what I want to say with this is that I'm done reading that part. Now, with that many people being in forbearance and you know that delinquency rate is pretty high, what does this mean to the average person? What I would take away from this is that, okay, might hit the fan, right? That's just pretty much what it is. And what I mean is, with 3.6 million homeowners in forbearance, let's say a third of that, right? Let's just guesstimate, right? A third of that, like about 1 million, right? 1.2 million, are people who are just taking advantage of the forbearance period, right? They're like, hey, if I could not pay my mortgage for 3 months, rack up, buy a Rolex, I'm gonna do that, right? And I'll just pay that. I'll just pay those 3 months at the end of my loan, right? So I'm gonna guess, right? Like a third, right? And I feel like I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. A third of those people are fine. Like they can start paying their mortgage as soon as they want. Now, the other 2.4 million, I feel like those are people who are probably like in a real situation where they can't afford to pay their house anymore. Now, 2.4 million, that's still a lot of people. Imagine 2.4 million homes being foreclosed on. Once they get foreclosed on, that means now they're available to be bought by other people. That's a lot of houses to hit the market, right? That's a lot. Right now we are in real estate hasn't been affected by all of this, right? It hasn't. And a really cool stat that I learned earlier was that one of the reasons why it hasn't been affected is because there was a cool chart, and it said people who are mostly affected by this stuff. I don't want to use the word because I feel like this algorithm in social media like bans anything with the C word, right? The beer, right? Was referred to it as the beer case. So I want to say real estate hasn't really been affected, right? Prices keep going up during all of this. And one of the reasons has to do with the fact that there's low inventory, right? As soon as a house pops up on the market, it's rare. It's a rare commodity, right? People are running towards it. Now, if people are bidding up these houses still in the middle of this, that just shows that the people who are affected aren't really in the market to buy. And the chart that I saw earlier showed that the people who were mostly affected by this were people between, I think it was the ages of 18 and 24 or 20 and 24, and that's only 3% of the buyer pool, right? Now the biggest I want to say the biggest percentage of the buyer pool is 35 to 55, I believe it was. That group were the least affected by all the other groups on the chart. So what I'm trying to say is that the people who are actively looking, right, people who are trying to buy a house, they still have their jobs. They still have some money to buy a home. So when all of this stuff started happening, people are losing jobs. The people who are losing jobs aren't necessarily the people who were in the market to buy a house. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of people lost their jobs, but were those people even gonna buy a house anyways? You know, that's how you have to kind of look at it and decipher all these stats, because there's a lot of crazy stats out there, right? And that's the fun part about it, I guess, too, which is why I like stats. One is that you can really predict the future now, and two is that there's so much to a fact or a stat that you can break it down. Like for example, the unemployment rate. A lot of people don't know that if you stop looking for a job, you are off that scale. You are no longer a part of the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate only shows people who are actively looking for jobs. So if you're someone who just gave up, you are not a part of that. So the unemployment rate right now is 8.4%, right? Today is September 15, 2020, and last I read, I think it was like last Friday, the unemployment rate was 8.4%. It could be higher than that. It could be a lot higher. So don't ever take a stat for like the number that's there right in front of you, the headline. Don't do that, because then that's how a lot of misinformation gets spread. You gotta ask questions. How did they come up with this number? Okay, so that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to pretty much just vent and talk about all these stats that are going on, and I'm gonna start doing this a lot more. So if I bored you with this, I apologize, but I really don't, because you can get out of here, leave, unsubscribe, bye. Or if not, if you like these videos, I'm gonna keep them coming. I even got me a nice little notebook. It says stats, notes, and article notes. You can tell it was an older notebook. It said class notes, so I just wrote over it stat notes. Should I have put stat notes or stats notes? I don't know. An S and an S. When two words end in S, it sounds funny. Stats notes, like my name. Whenever that's Lewis's, that I could never say that growing up. I was like, that's Lewis's, or if I would hear that just sounds weird. It doesn't sound nice. And I'm a big fan of music, so sound is very important to me. That's Lewis's. This sounds better. Rhode Island's favorite realtor, Lewis Monroe. If you're looking to buy or sell a house, let me know. Bye.